I'm GREYMOND. I'm an expert in OCD recovery because for the last 19 years, I've been helping people fully recover from OCD. If you would like to do personal coaching with me, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. You can sign up from there. Let's break down an OCD spike because I want you to see it as a pattern. OCD always behaves on a pattern, and OCD always wants you to zoom in into the content, into the situation of the day. But I want you to zoom out and just see it as a pattern, and that's it. So, part one is the exposure. Some sort of a trigger exposure, it's same thing, came in. It can be in the form of an image, in the form of a feeling, in the form of a physical sensation, in the form of a dream. Something came in. And now you're at this fork in the road of you can do response prevention or you can do response a lot. You've tried to do response a lot. We know this. Over the years, probably, you've tried to do response a lot. It didn't work. It only made OCD worse. So you need to make a decision in the moment to do response prevention. When you do response prevention over and over again, you show the brain that this is irrelevant. Now the brain, in its patterned way, will always tell you that this thought is different than all your other thoughts. This is completely new. This is not like all your other stuff. You need to confess it, do checking, do compulsions immediately, because if not, either something bad is going to happen or just the anxiety will never go away. It will scare you with either one or a combination of both. And then it might try to pull you into more of a kind of depressive thinking, overthinking of, well, I'm going to be like this forever. I'm stuck. This person online said you can't recover, all that stuff. You can absolutely recover. But you need to cultivate that reaction, that when it tells you all this stuff, you passively ignore it. Treat it as you would treat somebody who came up to you to sell you something on the street. What would you do? You wouldn't engage with them most of the time, right? You would just, okay, not for me, walk away. Passively. Don't create an intense reaction, because if you start to have a reaction such as, why are the thoughts still here? When are they going to go away? What does this mean? You're reacting. You're reacting to maybe not the content of the thought, but the idea that you have the thoughts. And that also feeds the OCD. So passively ignoring, it's this pattern, it's the same pattern, and you need to also operate on a pattern of ignoring until your brain gets that this is irrelevant. We're doing this on a physical level, but what is actually happening is you're changing how your brain processes information. You're changing your brain chemistry. You're stopping yourself from being in fight or flight all the time. Because as you know, when you start to react to OCD, you immediately go into fight or flight mode. Your cortisol skyrockets, your adrenaline skyrockets, your heartbeat, I mean, it's everything, right? So we need to stop that reaction. And after a while, your brain will view this as the new normal and will just do this on autopilot. Because people without OCD, people who've never had OCD, they also have these thoughts. But they just dismiss them. They don't even take them seriously. If you ask them 5 minutes later, oh, did you have this thought? They won't even remember it. So they do this automatically already. We got to get there by doing recovery work. So that's all it is. And I'm telling you, you absolutely can fully recover because your brain starts to function differently when you do this. But one exposure a day is not going to do it. It has to be all day because you are in exposure all day. Most people are in ERP all day, meaning that they're in a situation where they're exposed to their OCD trigger all day or most of the day. And the problem is not with the exposure, the problem is with response prevention. Instead of doing ERP, exposure and response prevention, they're doing exposure and response a lot, which feeds the OCD and makes it worse. Or maybe they're doing 1 hour of on-purpose exposure exercises, which I mean, sometimes it's necessary, and I do on purpose exposures sometimes with clients, but for most people, you're already in exposure. If you're triggered all day, you're already in exposure. You need to focus on response prevention part of it. Thank you for listening. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you would like to do private coaching with me, please sign up through youhaveocd.com. I'll see you tomorrow.